Hi, Cold Warrior 78 again. Excuse me looking directly into the sun on this, but I wanted to get a shot here in the back of my truck because we're going to talk about containers today. Now, not containers in the standard kind of 5Cs that a lot of people talk about for survival. I'm talking about when you go camping, when you organize anything. I've got an open pickup truck, okay? You don't just throw stuff into that. If you do, it's going to get all jumbled up, it's going to get wet, it's going to get dirty. I was once told by a very smart sergeant in the United States Army that a rucksack is a container full of containers, a bag full of bags. And a pickup truck, a car, whatever vehicle you use when you go camping or go do anything, should be a container of containers. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Right behind me, we'll start over on this side. What you see right here is an old Rubbermaid brand Footlocker, for lack of a better term. I got this about 10 years ago. I got it for Toolbox because I have an open truck, so you can't just put tools in the back of it. They're going to get soaking wet, somebody's going to steal them. This is made out of a fiber plastic kind of thing. It's pretty strong. If you're careful, you can sit on it. It's watertight. It's been in the back of my truck for years. You can see this, it's not really a patina. This yellow stuff that's on here came from a tarp that I had over top of it when I came out here camping a couple of weeks ago. I've got a couple of these things and they're absolutely excellent as far as they go. The biggest problem is they're not really big enough for what I needed to do, but they're bigger than for some of the things I need to do. That doesn't make any sense, but when you start dealing with containers, you're going to find that. You either get one that's so big you can put all the stuff in it you need, but then it's too heavy to deal with. Or you get smaller ones, and then you have to have more of them. Okay, live with it. You find what works for you. Don't worry about what I've got. But this, for those of you who've never seen one, comes with a little sliding tool tray in here. Keep lots of junk in it. At the moment, this has generic camping and hiking stuff in it. It's got hatchets, it's got the propane tanks for my stove, that kind of stuff. It's got an extra backpack for my friend that was hiking with me a couple weeks ago. These plastic latches do an excellent job keeping this thing closed, and there is a place to put a lock. I've had this thing padlocked on occasion because you can break down a rifle and put it in here for safekeeping. The problem is I don't think these are being made anymore. I haven't found any in a couple of years, and that bothers me because you need watertight storage. Now, a lot of people will use some version of a rucksack, a duffel bag, something like that. Excellent organizational tools. I use one, but this stays in the truck with me because these things are not watertight. If it's got a zipper, if it's not a dry bag designed to be going down, the river canoeing, then it's not dry. These things, but right there. This thing is just a little rucksack. It's nylon. It's a knockoff of the Army's rucksack. It's not really an Army rucksack, but it's using all the tactical doodads that they have nowadays. Heavy nylon. I picked it up for 17 bucks on sale. It's not a great pack, but it's a pack. It organizes stuff. At the moment, this is where I've got my extra clothes, but it's not watertight. You don't want this in the back of a pickup truck. You don't want this as your only container if you're camping. Now let me slide over here. This is actually a Christmas present this year. When you do the things I do, you ask for strange Christmas presents. This is a Husky toolbox. You can see it's got the wheel in the back here. They got them at Home Depot. I believe they were 49 bucks. This beast is excellent. I needed something long enough to put my tent, and I've also got a stand for my stove and a small roll-up table. And I needed something long enough to put that in. This not only is long enough for all that stuff, but it also has, well, let me pop the top and let me show you. Designed to be a toolbox, so you've got excellent locking tabs here. There's a key lock that comes here, which I don't use. Okay, there's a retention strap here on the lid, over here. Okay, so the lid doesn't go too far open. At the moment, the lid is still new enough, the lid's tight enough that it's not going to be a problem. But I mean, here's my tent. This is not a backpacking tent, people. This is a 4 or 5, probably legitimately runs 6 people, although we typically put 2 people and a dog in it and fill it up pretty much. But it's a this particular one is an old Greatland Outdoor, so that was a Walmart brand, I believe, way back in the day, probably 20-something years ago. It's a piece of crap tent, but it lasted 20 years, so, you know, I don't like the design, but I used it on weekends for a really, really, really long time, and it's still somewhat functional today. A rodent of some sort, I think it was probably a skunk, chewed through one of the corners a couple of weeks ago, so at the moment it's being held together with duct tape on that corner. It's probably going to get retired. But look at the size of that thing. Okay, I've got 3 camping pads. This is your standard Army Ensilite type pad that we were issued in the 1980s. I know eventually the Army went away from that, but man, these things are really good. I've got 3 of those in here. I've got a 2 sleeping bag tarp, 2 sleeping bag sleep system, because it is still winter and you need to have adequate sleep system. Mine happens to be 2 3-season bags that I can put. One is actually designed to be an external bag or an outer bag that you can slip the other one inside of. So I've got two mummy bags in here, pretty decent size. There's another one of those pads. I have a pillow. I've got an old Army shelter half because you never know when you need more canvas. Okay? It sounds stupid, but if you're not backpacking, pillow. It's amazing how much better sleep you're going to get having, I mean, even if it's a nasty old pillow you don't even want to use at home anymore, which this is, you'll sleep a lot better. Army poncho liner. Here's that roll-up table I was talking about. This thing's 3 feet long, 36 inches. Finding a container that's 36 inches long was not an easy thing as I thought it was going to be. They used to make Rubbermaid containers and Sterilite containers and stuff that long, but none of them are watertight anymore. They're making the lips too short. They used to have like the old style Rubbermaid container I'll show you in a minute had a lip that was between 1 inch and 3/4 of an inch thick, so I never had any problem with water coming in those. The new things, the Sterilites, maybe have a 1/2 inch to 1/4 of an inch, get wet all the time. So anyway, this is the table. The stove stands down below that. So this, the way I've got it organized right now, has everything I need to go camping from the, if you will, the life support side. It's got the tent, it's got the pads, it's got the tarp to go under the tent, table, stove stand, sleep system, that whole nine. With the, go back over here, with my hiking and, if you will, running around kind of camping stuff in here, then the only thing I need is a kitchen system. Let me show you how that works. All right, we're back again. Let me show you what I keep the my kitchen system in. And it's really pretty simple. Right behind me here is a what we just call the large Rubbermaid. They're rough tote, rough neck Rubbermaids. These things were around for decades. It's a flexible plastic, so you wouldn't think it would last very long, but these things, I don't know, this particular one's probably 14 years old. I've got several that are a lot older than that. They don't last forever. If you put sharp things in there, like metal or whatever, they will poke through. I have used these for my tools. I've used these for camping. I've used these for pretty much everything. And they're excellent. The problem is I don't think they're being made anymore. This lip on the outside, okay, it's over 1 inch long. That's what makes this whole thing work, because there's a lip here as well. When you click that onto itself, it doesn't blow off in the back of the truck. I've never had a problem with these things blowing off. You know, highway speeds, running around the country. They're watertight. I've never had one leak on me, no matter what the rainstorm or sleet storm or whatever it was. These things are excellent. Unfortunately, the major retailers of these, Home Depot, Walmart, the big box stores, are all doing their own brand now. And those brands are substandard from my standpoint because they're not watertight. These things are. The large one, as you see here, is big enough, another propane bottle, to put a whole stove in. I've got a Coleman stove right here, okay? Fits right in here, fits to about that level, so I can put the propane tank right on top of it. It's also got paper towel, toilet paper, all my cook kits, hot dog forks for cooking hot dogs at night, because yeah, I like roasting hot dogs over a fire. Can't be camping if you're not cooking hot dogs over a fire. But that's everything I need. There is some food in there, but that's not my major food storage. Food storage is typically a small one. All right here. And the reason why I do that is twofold. If I put too much stuff in there, the bread gets crushed, so I don't want to do that. So the heaviest thing in there right now is the inevitable jar of peanut butter, bread, bagels, trail mix that I came up with. But again, it's a Rubbermaid container. It's got the same kind of top, the same kind of lip. These things are absolutely watertight. When I found out that Home Depot was no longer going to carry these things, I went and got about 12 of these to put my tools in. The downside to the big ones, even though you can fit a lot of stuff in it, is you can fit a lot of stuff in it. It's too heavy. When you put tools, you know, construction tools and electrical tools and all the kind of crap that you carry around with you. So I went to the smaller ones. I've got a lot more of them, but strangely enough, they don't take up any more space, because 2 of these is the same height as one of the big ones. So it still fits in all the same spaces, but I'm not stressing these like I was stressing the older ones. So anyway, these are the containers that I use. What do you guys use? All right, now think about this a minute. If you just throw stuff in the back of your car, God help you in the back of a pickup truck, it gets jumbled, it gets damaged, it gets dirty, it gets wet, it could get stolen. You know, if you just have stuff jumbled up, people look in your window, even if it's inside a car or inside the back seat, they see things that may spark them to do something stupid like break your window or, you know, what have you. Containers are the way to solve that problem. So hit me in the comments, what do you guys use for containers? If you found another source for something that's watertight to go in the back of a truck, let me know, because I love these big heavy things from Home Depot, but I'm always open to suggestion. I have used the crossbody toolboxes in the past. I don't have one on this truck at the moment just because I put other stuff in it and it just got in the way. But I had one on my other pickup truck and it worked all right for most of its life. After a while, the latches kind of got goofy and it got cattywampus on the lid, so it wasn't as watertight as it started life. But it is what it is. But anyway, what do you guys use? Let me know in the comments. This is Cold Warrior 78 saying, hey, get back out in the forest or the woods or the desert or wherever. Just get on out and have some fun.